Do you know that?
Thank you. Your Excellencies and peers of the APR Forum of Heads of State and Government, His Excellency, my brother Musafaki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Her Excellency Professor Fatma Zora Garaja, Chairperson of the APR Panel of Eminent Persons, Professor Eddie Maluka, the Chief Executive Officer of the APRM Continental Secretariat, ministers and heads of delegations representing the APRM focal points, Your Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to say that it gives me great pleasure to open this 30th African Peer Review Forum of Heads of State and Government. We are holding this summit virtually as a measure to limit physical interaction between people and thus contain the spread of COVID-19. The pandemic has caused great suffering on our continent and continues to do so around the world. It has claimed the lives of millions of people. It has devastated economies and destroyed many livelihoods. It has placed systems of governance and service provision under significant strain, pushing our resources and capabilities as people, the state, to the limit. Under these conditions, and as we work to rebuild in the wake of COVID-19, the African peer review mechanism takes on an even greater significance. The APRM mission to promote the African Union's shared values of democratic governance and inclusive development remains a priority. The APRM is a firm statement of the resolve of African countries to strengthen effective governance and inclusive development. Also the rule of law and social and economic development. It is an important part of our efforts as individual states and as a continent to tackle instability, conflict, corruption, and maladministration. Having revitalized the mechanism over the past 5 years, the APRM's strategic plan for 2020 to 2024 continues to drive towards accession by all AU member states. Of the 55 AU member states, more than 2/3 have already acceded to the APRM. This is a wonderful achievement. The most recent accessions, those of Zimbabwe and the Seychelles at our summit last year, bring our community to a total of 40. At the 29th APR Forum last year, we peer-reviewed the country review report of the Arab Republic of Egypt with a response from my brother, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. We also completed the first ever peer review of a targeted review report, and this was the Republic of Namibia's targeted review on youth unemployment as overseen by my brother, President Hage Geingob. In the last few months of 2020, our mechanism made several notable achievements despite the disruptive effects of COVID-19. The APRM team, in collaboration with members of the African Governance Architecture Platform, produced the Africa Governance Report 2021 on African Governance Futures to 2063. The National Governance Report team validated a toolkit for producing national governance reports with member states. The team worked with the Kenya APRM National Secretariat on virtual training and preparatory activities for the first pilot National Governance Report. The development phase of the pilot Kenya National Governance Report was launched virtually on the 9th of October 2020. The Early Warning and Conflict Prevention team completed an APRM briefing to the Peace and Security Council in March of 2020 and a virtual briefing in October. The APRM Credit Advisory Team launched the first African Sovereign Credit Ratings Review report in October. It commenced consultations with two international agencies, namely Fitch and Moody's, to enable the team to brief member states on the ratings processes as well as on the methodologies that are used. The APRM Monitoring and Evaluation team held a virtual capacity building workshop and developed a continental training program on the integration of APRM national programs of action into national development plans. Member states that participated included South Africa, Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Benin, Niger, Mauritius, Nigeria, Djibouti, and Egypt. The research and monitoring and evaluation teams completed 55 country profiles for the Governance Atlas using the APRM electronic questionnaire tool. The online platform is completed and awaiting validation. The APRM base questionnaire was revised in 2020 to, among others, include a fifth thematic area, state resilience. The APRM hosted the third Africa Governance Seminar Series in December 2020, which included presentation of 8 papers that were developed by continental experts. The APRM also launched a report on governance mechanisms for the implementation of the SDGs and also Agenda 2063. Preparations have been completed for peer reviews at this summit on Liberia, discussion of the gap analysis report for Sudan, 2 targeted reviews of Zambia on tourism and mineral resources governance, and a targeted review report on Sierra Leone on the health governance and the national COVID-19 response. Now, due to the upcoming elections, peer review of the targeted review report of Djibouti on fiscal decentralization has been postponed to the next forum. Your Excellencies, in addition to the country reviews and targeted reviews, we will at this meeting also peer review the progress reports for Kenya and Mozambique. Additionally, we will also present our former chairperson, President Idris Deby of the Republic of Chad, with a legacy report for excellent service to the mechanism during his distinguished tenure at the helm of the APRM from 2018 to 2020. We will also be provided with a preview of the Africa Governance Report 2021, completed by the APRM in conjunction with other Africa Governance Architecture institutions. We will receive the report of the Committee of Focal Points by its chair, Minister Senzo Mchunu of South Africa. We will also have the honor of presenting a certificate of appreciation for distinguished service to Professor Ibrahim Gambari of the Republic of Nigeria, retiring member of the panel of eminent persons for West Africa. Allow me, Your Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, to conclude by thanking each of you for providing political leadership and strategic guidance to the mechanism at both national as well as at continental level. Through these efforts, I am certain that the mechanism will be a vital instrument for the achievement of Africa's social and economic goals as enshrined in the AU's Agenda 2063 and the UN's Agenda 2030 for the sustainable development of our continent. And in this regard, I'd like to thank you. And I thank you dearly as we move on to my next speaker, who will be none other than my brother, His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission. Musa Faki Mahamat, you have the floor.
Excellency Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, current Chairman of the African Union. Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, Chairman of the Forum of Head of State and Government of the African Peer Review Mechanism. Excellencies, Head of State and Government, Honorable Ministers, Professor Fatma Zahra Kharaja, Chairperson of the African Peer Review Panel of Eminent Persons, Dr. Adesina, President of the African Development Bank, Professor Maloka, Chief Executive Officer, APRM Secretariat, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is with a real pleasure that I participate in the 30th ordinary session of the Forum of Head of State and Government of the African Peer Review Mechanism. Established in 2003, 18 years ago, the African Peer Review Mechanism has proven to be an essential tool in the promotion and exercise of the good governance desired by the African Union. Despite its integration in the African Union, the APRM retained its independent and autonomous character, which was seen as a guarantee of its efficiency. On this basis, the mechanism has held open and frank discussions on good governance policies and programs in several African countries. It therefore created new spaces for citizen participation in public affairs. With 40 member states adhering, the APRM has gained a leading stature in the AU architecture. I therefore urge the remaining AU member states to speed up their accession to the APRM in order to achieve full universality by 2023, as foreseen in the first 10-year implementation plan of Agenda 2063. On achieving this universality, the APRM will strengthen the cause of good governance on the continent and its four manifestations of political governance, economic governance, corporate governance, and inclusive and general socio-economic development. Excellences, Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs, il est encore trop tôt.
It is early to see the results of APRM. Its finality is one of the most important in Africa. Deficiency in terms of government, and it's in part because of we are going through a lack of resources, corruption, exclusion, inequality against women, violent political and social crimes, intercommunity conflicts, violation of political and human rights are all manifestations and consequences of between governance, stability and development that the APRM has to establish and promote without weakness or complicity. So it's an assurance with all risks against violences, inequalities, and poverty. The Africa that we won't reach it if we don't adhere to the spirits and morals of ideology of good governance, human rights, respect, justice, and the rule of law as stipulated in our architecture. So the APRM, with collaboration with the governance architecture, the second study of this report on perspectives such as governance offers possibilities of realizing these aspirations. In this same spirit of satisfaction, I would like to mention or congratulate APRM for its determination despite the challenges by the COVID pandemic. We have done some reviews in a number of countries, especially in Liberia, Djibouti, Zambia, Sierra Leone, and we've had a mission Djibouti. I would like to congratulate the heads of those countries and all those that have promoted good governance, and at the same time express my gratitude to the panel of eminent personalities that did the review and the missions on governance. I would like to congratulate as well you, Professor Eddie Maluka, for the work that you always do at the Secretariat of the APRM in conditions that are not always. I would also like to congratulate all these intellectual efforts, and I hope that they won't go in vain and that they will help us to transform our realities. I would like to ensure that the new African Commission and myself would be happy to give you the support and everything that you need in order to accomplish your mission. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Musa Faki Mahamat, for your wonderful words and statement. Without much ado, I'd now like us to move on and ask Professor Fatma Zora Karaja, the chairperson of the APR panel of eminent persons, to make her statement.